back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sue of Bendnstretch with Sue. In today's video, I'm sharing with you a Hatha yoga practice that I recently did live with some of my students on Zoom. It's about a 45-minute yoga practice, so I hope that you'll enjoy it, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you'll know when I upload new content, and you can check it out and check me out in the next video. Above the hips, so you want to have your shoulders lined up over top of your hips, as well as the ears over the shoulders. And you can place the legs in a crossed position, or if it's easier for you to sit with the legs a little bit extended, you could go ahead and do that as well. Or sometimes having one extended and the other one bent works well for practitioners. Now you can rest the backs of the hands over the knees and closing your eyes as we give ourselves a few moments to really become present, allowing the awareness to move into our breath awareness. You can keep the lips lightly sealed and begin to draw the breath in through the nostrils and out through the nostrils is ideal. Now, if that's not working for you, you just find a breath rhythm, a breath method that is going to really be suitable for you, so that it's more conducive for you to begin to relax. Now, by having the eyes closed, you automatically close off the external stimuli that busies our mind. It's just an additional noise that we take in visually. So closing those eyes allows you to use your mind's eye so that you can see what's going on the inside. Now, right away you may find there's a lot of thoughts coming at you as you begin. So let that awareness of those thoughts remain. So you're not trying to push them away. You're simply becoming an observer of your thoughts. Kind of like sitting on a park bench and watching people walk by. There's no attachment to them. You see them come, you see them go, and all is well. Gradually, as you become more centered, you may find your breath starts to get longer and get deeper. Every time you exhale, it's like you're letting go of all that preoccupies you, all that burdens you, and it just leaves you feeling a little lighter, more prepared for this time dedicated for you and your practice. So you can take another moment here to set an intention for your time of practice this morning. Whatever draws you to the mat this morning. Perhaps it is just time to stretch, time for you, or maybe you'd like to dedicate your practice to someone near and dear. Whatever it is that motivates you and brings you here on this day, setting the mind and feeling more prepared to begin. So let's take a big inhale and scoop the arms wide open, looking up to the hands and bringing the hands to the heart center. Let's take another stretch just like that. It feels so good to open up the body that way. Reaching up, looking up, and once again the hands float to the heart. From here, we'll bring the arms up once more, and as we reach them forward, just relax through the neck, the shoulders here. You can walk the hands away a little bit more, perhaps, maybe even coming up onto the pads of the fingers, As you give yourself a little bit of sway from side to side. And then slowly walking those hands back in again to restore your tall and lifted spine. And from here we switch it over, bringing the opposite leg in front and moving into what is quite possibly not your favorite side. So it might feel a little bit more awkward on this side. So be patient with yourself. We're not here very long at all, but it's a great way to open those hips. As you breathe in, reach up, look up. Exhale and float the hands down in front of you. Once again, walk them away. And keeping your bottom well connected to the mat, coming up onto the pads of those fingers once again, and adding in that little tiny bit of swaying from side to side, kind of working out those kinks and crooks that you might be feeling in the body. As we bring ourselves back to sitting nice and tall, let's reach the arms up once again, looking up. Exhale, hands to the heart, and from here we roll onto the knees and come into a table position. So as you align yourself onto all fours, let's open up the hands nice and big here and bringing the chin in toward the collarbone, dragging it over to the right shoulder and holding, pausing here, bringing the chin back to the center, over to the left shoulder, a little tucked in hold. Bring it back to the center and drag it around, lifting the gaze forward and bringing it to the left and back around again. Keeping the bandhas engaged here, so the root lock, the belly lock. As you bring the head back to the center, do the same thing in the opposite direction. And really linking this gentle, easy movement with your breathing so that it feels soothing and calming. Bring it back to the center. Push yourself to a child's pose as you stretch the arms out and allow the forehead to draw down either all the way to your mat, or this is where you could use one of your blocks and simply place the forehead on a block. You could also do it on a cushion or even your folded blanket. Intending that tailbone back towards your heels, and slowly begin to make your way back up again. As you come on up into a rounded, angry cat. Maybe even coming up onto the pads of the fingers, separating those shoulder blades, and articulate back to a nice flat tabletop. Take the hands further forward, tuck the toes under, moving into a downward facing dog. As you move away from having weight perhaps in your hands, push it back into your feet. So this creates a really, really nice long back. As you lift on the balls of both feet, bend one leg and straighten the other one. And then switch it over to the opposite side. As you lift up on the balls of both of the feet, drop your heels and your hips over to your right. Maybe walking away your left fingertips, taking a gaze underneath your right underarm. Slide that hand back in place as you lift up on the balls of both feet again, and here as well. Drop the hips and the heels over to your left. And walk those fingertips toward the top right corner of the mat. And bring it back to the center. Lift up on the balls of both of your feet. Press belly towards your thighs. Soften the knees and walk your feet all the way to the top of your mat. Inhale to flatten your back. Exhale to fold. Inhale to flatten the back once again. Exhale to fold and reverse it. Scoop those arms wide. Reach for the sky and lean back as you bring the palms to your heart center. And taking a moment to pause and to reconnect with that intention that you set. Let's take a breath in, reach up, inhale. And as you exhale, sinking into chair. As you sink into chair, lift the toes up away from your mat and bring the arms back alongside the hips. Come over onto the toes as you reach up through tall mountain, keeping the heels lifted. Sinking once again all the way into those heels. As you come back to chair, arms come back and move on to the toes. As you reach up through tall mountain, getting way up there, sinking nice and easy. Heels lifted, heels drop, arms circle around and reach through those tippy toes as you come through tall mountain. And sinking one more time into your chair. Hold it here. Keep the heart nice and open and circle it up. Keep the heels down, toes down, and lean back. Little baby back bend. Hands land at your heart center. So starting to get a little bit more warmth into the body now. The feet, soles of the feet are nice and open. Let's breathe in to reach up. And exhale, dive down. As you inhale, flatten your back. Soften the knees. Bring the fingertips to your mat, to the floor. You might even reach them onto a block if that's easier for you to access. But from here, we reach the hands away from our hips and sink the hips back away from your hands, creating a nice long line here. Now, with both knees softened, begin to straighten your right leg as you reach back, circling halfway back with your right arm, looking to that right hand if you can, and bending that right knee as you replace the right hand onto the floor or onto your block. As we keep pushing the hips back, stretch and lengthen, soften through the knees, begin to straighten your left leg as you half circle back with the left arm, palm open to the wall that you're facing, reaching the hips back. Maybe your right fingertips walk away even more, and circle it back to a nice flat back, fingertips to the mat or to your shins. Exhale and fold. Inhale to flatten the back. Exhale, step back with your right foot, making it a nice long lunge here as you sink the hips, reaching the arms up to come up into Crescent Lunge. Palms face each other, the body is nice and tall over the hips, and slowly bending that back knee to bring it down to your mat. Inhale to open the heart a little bit more. Really press into that front foot as the hands slide to your heart. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, bring your right elbow across over to the outer knee or thigh, and see if you can press your thumbs to line up with your chest here as you look back past that back shoulder. Take another breath, and on your next inhale, unwind, reach up, back knee lifts up, little baby back bend to open that hip, keeping the front knee bent, tipping forward and stepping to come into chair once again. And as you lift those toes, sink into the hips and heels a bit more, circle the arms back, move onto the toes, circle the arms, reach up through tall mountain, keeping heels lifted, reach, and exhale. Heels stay lifted a little longer, bring the heels down and fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, step back with the left leg this time. And once again, we find our Crescent Lunge. So you want to make sure that it is a big step back. Palms face each other. The heart stays open, keeping that back leg straight and strong. And then start to bend as you bring the knee to the floor. Palms come together, lift the gaze, hands float to your heart. Breathe in. And breathe out, bring it across. Press those thumbs towards your heart center, looking back. Reach, gazing back behind you. Unwind and breathe and reach up. Lift that back knee. Come on into your baby back bend. Keeping a good bend in that front knee as you reach forward. Step it in. Chair pose. Bring those arms back behind you. Lift those toes and move on to the toes as you circle up, reaching those hands up and bring them to the heart. Pausing here. Breathe easy, relax the arms down, circle out your shoulders a little bit. You can bring the feet a little wider than hip width. Just let your arms sway side to side. It's a great way to just soothe the soul as you calm your spine with the nervous system running through the spine. And let's bring it back to a more centered position, keeping the feet wider than hip width still. Breathe and reach up, look up, exhale, hands to the heart and sink into a squat. Keeping your heart lifted here. Bring the elbows inside the inner thighs. Now if you needed to, you could always use one of those blocks to place underneath your sit bones to make it more accessible. And over time, you can start to lower that block or eliminate it completely. Now tuck the tail and see if you can lift your heart up a little bit more. And from here, we walk the hands out in front. And as you reach through your fingertips, once again, we add that little bit of sway, just like we did when we were seated. Moving through those hips and kind of working your way through those open soles of the feet, stretching through the arm side of the body, and bring it back as you bring the hands in once again. From here, we plant the hands right underneath our chest, shoulders. Now you can either walk your feet back to a plank position. If you are a more experienced practitioner, you could simply pop the feet back to your plank, and from here, lower down all the way to the mat. Stretch the tops of your feet, and with the hands right outside of the ribs, draw your elbows in, breathe in to lift and lengthen. You can stay in a cobra, or you could come up into an upward dog, shoulder blades sliding down the back, and bring those knees to the mat. Push back into that child's pose. Beautiful long legs through the sides of the body, through the underarms, the upper arms, all the way to your fingertips, to the tailbone. As you move forward again, come on back into a plank position. Aligning yourself. From here, press the top of your right foot into the mat. Keep the chest open. Press the top of the left foot. Sink the hips a little bit more. And as you ease to roll toward the right hip, you want to sink the right side down. Maybe even pick up the left leg and cross it behind. Really stretching the side of the body beautifully, or just stay with both feet centered. Bring it back, and let's do the same stretch. Other side. So left hip drops first. Picking up that right leg. Place it behind. Look past your shoulder and bring it back. Roll through the tops of those feet to come into your downward facing dog. Open your hands, reset them really wide open here. And as you lift your right leg up, reach it back, bring your heel, your left heel toward the floor. It doesn't need to touch, so don't walk your hands closer. Just try to intend that heel further down, belly closer to your thigh. The knee comes into the body as you step your foot forward. As you bring your back heel to the mat, we reach up with the left arm. So creating a really nice side angle. Now, if you feel that you need some extra support, this bottom hand can go on the block, or you can bring it up. So you've got more of a side stretch happening. Smoothly bringing the hands to your heart. And as we keep sinking into the hip, you can hold it right here, or you can get a little bit deeper here and moving, just turning those front toes to the diagonal a tiny bit as we come into Skandasana. So lifting that back heel up, pulling toes towards you, bringing that foot back down as we move up to Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. Taking the back arm, wrap it around your lower back, sneak those fingertips towards your inner thigh, turn your front palm up, and reach it up and over. Breathe in, get long. Breathe out, sink a little bit more. Maybe the feet come a little further apart. And then glide them back to your Warrior Two arms. Straightening the front leg. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, bring that front hand to the front hip. Circle that back arm around and turn the palm toward the ceiling. Start to angle your back foot a little bit. Maybe it comes in just a tiny bit, just to give you a little bit more squaring. Reach up with that left palm and bring it up and back, keeping that front knee bent as you reach, 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 and release the arm. Circle them both out to the side. Warrior One, inhale, exhale, hands come down, and step it back to a three-legged dog. Keep that leg lifted or float the foot to the floor to move into a three-limbed plank. If you want a little extra, bending the elbows to Chaturanga, scoop it through, inhale, exhale, take it back, downward facing dog. And just breathe here. Take 5 full breaths, inhales and exhales. Give the head a little turn from side to side. If you need to make it a little easier, you can always come down to child's pose. Give yourself a little rocking of the head as you gently massage the forehead. So make this your own. Listen to your body. Modify where you need to. Make it easier, make it harder if you want. As you reach up and back with your left leg. And I'm just going to turn around so that I don't have my back to you. You're reaching with the left leg and bringing that knee in as you step the foot to the top of your mat. Once again, you're going to place that back heel down, turning the toes toward the long edge of the mat as you come into side angle. Hand right along the outside of your front leg, keeping a good bend in that knee, or coming up a little higher, and that can make it a little bit more comfortable. You want to feel like you're pressing your front knee open toward the baby toe, taking it to the heart as you press those palms together. Looking up past your back shoulder, sinking a little bit deeper into it, possibly just turning those front toes out diagonally a bit as you sink into a really nice hip stretch. Now you can use your hands here if you want and just focus on having those back toes lifted, the leg a little bit straighter, and lots of support for your front hip. So again, it's all about making it your own. From here, we move up to our Warrior Two. So just the feet. Maybe you bring the feet in a little bit closer, maybe you bring them a little further away, but the back arm wraps around. And again, you want to get a really good opening in the chest. The front palm turns up, reaching it up and over with a long, long line here. Sink into that. Press your front knee open. So it's a great strengthener for the legs as well as the core. As you bring the arms back to Virabhadrasana 2, we straighten the front leg. We bring the front hand to the front hip. And again, adjust that back foot a little bit. Circle the back arm, bring it in front of you. Hold that palm to face the ceiling. Square the hips as much as you can and reach up and back. That palm is facing the wall behind you. Breathe as you hold here. Bend the front knee maybe a little bit more. And then circle the arms out to the sides and up. Warrior One. Breathe in. Open the heart. Breathe out. Bring the hands down and step it back. Three-legged dog or a regular dog. Level the hips. Move to your three-limb plank or a regular one. Lower down to Chaturanga. and scoop it up. Upward dog. Downward dog as you exhale it out. Spread the hands nice and open here. Spread your shoulder blades apart as well. Give your head a little shake out here, side to side. Keep pressing that tailbone up to the sky, and as you lift on the balls of both of your feet, pick up those heels so you're way up. Press the hips up and back, bend your knees, and walk or hop to place the feet right between the hands. Inhale to come up with a beautiful flat back. And as we exhale, fold. Inhale to flatten the back. And as you prepare your peace fingers here, you're going to wrap them around the big toes. You're going to place your thumbs over top of the toenails. Now you can bend your knees as much as you need to. We're going for core strength here. As we move our weight into the left foot, we pick up the right foot and bring it out to the side, balancing on the left leg. Reaching with that right foot, balancing, holding, and step it back in underneath the hip. Now let's try that on the other side. So preparing first. Inhale, get nice and long. Slide those shoulder blades down your back. Hold on to that right big toe and left one as you move the weight into your right foot, lifting out with the left leg. Trying to stay as centered as you can, holding it. Breathe and bring that foot back in under the hip. Holding on to those big toes still. Take an inhale, reach the head forward, and as you exhale, sink your hips nice and low. Sink them lower and lower if you can, and bring your bottom all the way down. Still holding on to those big toes, possibly. And from here, we begin to straighten the legs as we move into our boat. Holding it here and pressing through the heels. It's a great way to stretch those hamstrings. From here, we open the legs nice and wide. Keep the chest proud. Stretching those inner thighs, balancing at the same time. And for a little bit more challenge, the worst thing that's going to happen is you roll back, but you come back up again. And the ultimate challenge here, letting go of the big toes. Hold it here, hold it, and grab those big toes again. Bring the legs back together again, and bring the soles of the feet together to cobbler's pose as you hold on to the toes. Make sure you're up onto the very base of the pelvis and you're not leaning back. You want to use those toes that you're holding onto, or you could even have the hands behind you that prop you up and allow the legs to open from here. From here, it is as if you are holding on to a book and you've got hands, your four fingers on top of the feet, right below the toes. The thumbs are right underneath the balls of the feet, and you're parting that book right down the middle. And as you do that, as you open up that book and you really pry those pages apart, you open up the hips a little bit more. So take another breath here. See if you can open that book a little bit more, and then release. Close it up. Close the knees and give yourself a hug. Wrap the arms around the legs. You can hold on to opposite elbows as you bring the forehead toward your knees. Slowly making your way up. From here, we bring the left leg, or sorry, the right leg out to the side, and we take the right foot, left foot, right leg, left leg, and we place it along the inside. I'm just trying to mirror you, make it a little bit easier for you, not confuse you. As you reach up, inhale. Keep both sit bones anchored and take your right hand to the left knee, your left hand behind you, and turn your gaze to look back. Breathe in, get a little bit taller, and breathe out. Come on back around. Inhale, reach up, And exhale, take your right hand and slide it down. Now if you needed to, you could use a block here and kind of prop your arm up on that block to make it a little easier to reach. If you have availability, maybe you're able to get down toward the floor. Make sure you're still pressing that left knee open, reaching up and over, looking up past that top elbow. And from here, we take that top arm and wrap it around the lower back, looking up still. Once again, we try to walk those left fingertips to the inner right leg, pressing that left knee open. Hold it here a little bit longer. Maybe you're able to bring your right rib cage a little bit closer to the top of your right thigh. Release it, come on up. Give yourself a couple of shoulder rolls here, making sure there's no tension there. And let's switch it up, bring your opposite leg long. And we want to make it a half straddle. So you're not just taking the leg in front of you, but you're opening it as wide as you can to get a good stretch in the inner thigh. And then by placing your right foot along the inside and intending that knee down, you're going to feel yourself get really good stretch in the hips. From here, reach up, inhale. Exhale with the left hand to the right knee, right hand behind you. Turn and gaze past your back hand or shoulder. You want to keep your chin nice and level. So try not to look up and try not to tuck down. You want to keep those airways open, so we always invite the flow of prana to really energize and to cleanse us. As we come forward again, breathe in, lengthen. Exhale, taking your left arm alongside that left leg. Again, use your block if you need to. Reach up and over, possibly sliding down a little closer. Pull your left toes towards you. Look up. And take that arm, wrap it around your lower back to really continue to pry open your heart center. We already do so much of our days forward bending. So if we can do that opening of the heart in our yoga practice, let's do that. As you release it, come on back up again. Again, you can roll out the shoulders, maybe a little squeeze and hold of those shoulders to the ears, and then release to bring it down. Let's open up both legs nice and wide this time. As we pull the toes toward us, we're now rolling forward on the pelvis. So what you want to avoid here is having a really rounded upper back. Quite often that's what I'll see, because we all want to get our hands down and we want to feel like we're getting down as low as possible. But really concentrate on what's happening in the hips and the glutes here. You want to pull the belly in so the bandhas are engaged to help you keep us supported back. And from here, inhale, reach those arms long. And as you exhale, bring the hands in front of you, walking them away and tipping. Keep pulling the toes towards you as well, so that you get lots of length in the backs of those legs. So you can feel yourself reaching through those heels and getting a beautiful stretch in the hamstrings, all the way to those glute attachments. You can feel it in the Achilles tendon. So much going on with what appears to be just a forward bend, a little bit of an inner thigh stretch, or a lot of an inner thigh stretch. From here, let's walk the hands back in. As we bend both of the knees, we bring the feet flat on the mat. You want to have a little bit of a turned out angle on your feet, so your shoulders are comfortably moving inside the legs. And from here, see if you can bring your hands right behind your heels. Get nice and long again. Keep that long, flat back. So think about bringing your belly button to the floor and reach your hands further back. Can you walk your hands back toward the wall behind you? Tipping forward more and more. Reaching the head forward more and more. Breathe and get long. Breathe out. Sink that belly a little further forward. Pausing here. Maybe you want to play around a little bit and bring the backs of your hands on your lower back as if you're going to bind your hands behind your back. And then slowly release that. Maybe you got the fingers to touch, maybe they were miles apart, doesn't matter. It's all about giving it a try, stretching and moving your body. As we bring the feet in a little bit closer, still maintaining a nice wide angle, we slide our right elbow right behind the leg. Now can you even maybe pick up the foot, give it a little help here as you balance the foot right on the back of your arm. That might be quite a stretch. You might have to keep holding onto your foot and have more of this effect happening, which is okay. We just want to keep furthering. Some of you might actually be able to pick up that foot, and maybe some of you are able to place it behind the head. I know many of my students are able to bring it, especially the kids that I teach. You can bring both legs and kind of walk around on their hands, but we're not going to go quite that far today. So you just want to give that a good opening here. Kind of wave the leg around. Great stretch in the attachments for the glutes, hamstrings. And let's try it on the other side. So same thing here. You want to pick up that foot and try to slide your arm right underneath it. So it's almost like you're creating a little bit of a shelf there to rest the back of your leg on. You can kind of circle the arm or the ankle around a few times and keep moving maybe the leg up a little bit higher up. So just a really, really good hip opener. Now, if you want to get really adventurous, you might do both sides and try to get both arms on the backs of the legs at the same time. Otherwise, you're just holding a wide angle stretch here. Now, if you've got the hands down, can you start to maybe rock a little bit onto your hands? Can you pick up your bottom a little bit? Maybe pick it up a lot. Maybe keep the legs long, straight, or bent, and then bring it down. Bring those feet out in front of you. Stretch out the legs. Give them a good shake. Hope I didn't scare you. As you bring the feet, just want you to keep that childlike playfulness alive. From here, you can have the legs bent, or you could have the legs outstretched. As you press through your hands, fingertips pointed straight ahead, as you lift yourself up into a inclined plane, which is like a reverse plane, or a reverse table if you want to keep the legs bent. Take a big breath in here to open. Exhale. Bring it all the way down. Keeping one of your blocks nearby, or if you have a bolster or even your rolled up blanket, you could go ahead and use that instead. But we're going to take this block. You have really two setting options. We're going to place it right between the shoulder blades here. As we extend the legs, let the head come down, either all the way to the floor. You could use your second block or your blanket to rest the back of your head on, and open up the arms here. Breathe into that chest, keep your palms turned up. And if you want that little extra, the hips are nice and open now. You can bring the soles of the feet together and enjoy just a few moments here of really opening up those anterior lines of the body. Again, as I mentioned, we spend a lot of our days with our arms reaching out in front of us, which internally rotates those shoulders, those upper arms. So we want to reverse that. We want to externally rotate them to open the chest, get a good stretch in those chest muscles, and create a little bit of contraction in the upper back muscles. Now you can keep the arms out at your sides. You could keep them closer to your hips, or you could bring them to reach back behind you. Keeping the palms facing up toward the sky is going to allow you to keep that external rotation. Take a few breaths, relax through the legs as you exhale, and then gently float those hands to guide the knees back together again. You can move your blocks out of your way here And from here, we recline all the way back down again. Bringing the knees into the body, hug them in. You can keep hands over the kneecaps, circling them in one direction. Circling them in the other direction a few times as well. And as you bring the feet to the mat, open up your arms nice and wide once again. They should probably open a little bit easier now. Cross your left leg on top of the right one. Slide your hips to the left a tiny bit, and then let your knees fall to your right side. See if you can gaze past your left shoulder towards your left hand. Relax your face and your jaw. As you pick up those legs once again, unwind them, slide your spine down the middle of the mat, cross the right leg on top of the left one, hips go over to your right side, knees surrender toward the mat, gaze goes toward your right hand. And breathe easy. Close the eyes. Use your inhalation to bring those legs back up again. And from here you can stretch yourself out. You can bring the legs along on your mat, your arms at your sides, closing your eyes and remaining in Shavasana. So let your breath slow to a place that is really soothing and calming, and you can just feel yourself integrating the work that you've done this morning into every cell of your being, soaking right into your very soul. And as you relax, I'd like to bring a thought to your day here. I have these cards of Louise Hay's. So just keep the eyes closed, relax. And this card that I just drew randomly says, all of my relationships are enveloped in a circle of love. I have wonderful, harmonious relationships with everyone, where there is natural or mutual respect and caring on both sides. So I hope that as you soak in this wonderful energy of peace, a little time of relaxation, you can stay here as long as you like. I really want to thank you so much for your time this morning, for coming in on this morning, this fall morning, to practice, to take care of you, because as you take care of yourself, you're that much more for everyone else around you. So namaste. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.